Education is always considered as a person weapon towards success.
Good day, everyone. Today, we are going to present to you a research study for the Research and Special Education subject entitled Challenges Encountered by the Out-of-School Youth with Special Needs in Accessing Education in Barangay Usiao, Bacon District, Sorsogon City.
I am Justin Diderla, and together with me,
Myla B. Disonia,
and we are the research proponents. So here's the overview of our research discussion. First, the introduction. Second, the statement of the problem. Next, the methodologies, followed by the result and discussion, conclusion, and recommendation. Going forward, we'll now proceed to the introduction will be discussed to you by Myla B. Disonia.
Education is fundamentally a valuable asset for humans and everyone entitled to claim it, since it serves as an important key pillar toward personal growth and development. Every child has the right and opportunities to ingress the education system, whether he or she is disabled or non-disabled. As education plays a significant role in the life of students, produce holistically developed and functionally literate Filipino learners in the context of special and inclusive education. However, there is just a fact that we cannot ignore, since one of the greatest problems that the world is facing right now is the growing number of out-of-school youth with special needs who are excluded from the school or no access to education. According to UNICEF 2021, the number of children who live with disabilities globally is estimated at almost 240 million. Children with impairments are currently the most marginalized members of society, since approximately 90% of learners with educational needs have no access to education in developing countries, most especially those learners live in remote areas on which 9 out of 10 children are being affected. Millions of children are really struggling to get to school and stay there due to numerous and sometimes overwhelming obstacles and challenges in life. In addition, based on the result of the study of Congresswoman Evelina Escudero, which entitled The Gains and Gaps of a Special Education Program in Region 5, there are very few differently disabled children are enrolled in DepEd, supported SPED centers and school in Bicol, as it only accounts for 0.07% or 1,187 learners with disabilities only are enrolled out of 1,545,099 who can't attend school. This research study identified the challenges encountered by the out-of-school youth with special needs in accessing education. Specifically, it determined the profile of the out-of-school youth with special needs along with their age, gender, types of disability, and socioeconomic status. Second, challenges encountered by the out-of-school youth with special needs as perceived by the out-of-school youth and by the parents or guardians. Lastly, proposed solutions based from the results of the study. Let's move forward to the methodology. Research design. This study utilized mixed methods which incorporates both quantitative and qualitative approach, specifically narrative qualitative design, in order to know the main challenges and obstacles of the out-of-school youth with special needs committed. Narrative qualitative design records the experiences of the out-of-school youth with special needs in accessing education and the life experiences of parents revealing their challenges. The participants of this research are certified out-of-school youth with special needs in Barangay Usiao, Bacon District, Sorsogon City. The total of participants in Barangay Usiao was determined through the use of purposive sampling. There were 7 out-of-school youth with different disabilities served as participants of this study. The information and data of out-of-school youth with special needs, Pierce Sitio in Barangay Usiao, was provided by the midwife of the health center, aging from 12 to 23 years old, and the researchers selected the participants who can provide the best information, and the age was qualified as EU. The instruments used in this study were survey questionnaires and structured interview guide questions, which are in Bacongnan dialect that are prepared by the researchers. The answers of the participants had been recorded through the use of mobile phone in order for them to answer more freely in their native tongue. Data collection and procedures. In gathering the data, the researchers gained the permission and consent first from the parents of the out-of-school youth with special needs. The survey was collected and analyzed first, followed by the interview to collect data, which helps to illustrate, expand on, or extend the quantitative results. The researchers gave the survey questionnaires to the participants to be filled out and guided by their parents. Then, the researchers prepared the structured interview guide questions to ask the perspective and opinion of the parents and out-of-school youth with special needs regarding to the provided questions. This helps to know the life experiences, reasons, perspectives of the participants, and the challenges they encountered in accessing education. Moreover, this study employed an interactive or systematic approach to take advantage of each individual process to obtain more accurate answers to the study questions in hand, and also the researchers provides a follow-up question. After the data collected, the researchers decoded it and translated afterwards. The data gathered will serve as a tool in order for the researchers to form a conclusion and recommendation. Statistical treatment of data. The researchers used thematic analysis method to analyze qualitative data. It usually applied to a set of texts such as interview or transcripts. The researchers closely examined the data to identify common themes, topics, ideas, and patterns of meaning that come up repeatedly. And also, the researchers used frequency and percentage distribution. A frequency and percentage distributions are a display of data that specifies the percentage of observations that exist for each data point of grouping of data points. The process of creating frequency and percentage distribution involves identifying the total number of observations to be presented and counting the total number of observations within each data point of grouping of data points.
Going forward, we'll now proceed to results and discussion. So to start, we'll be now looking for significant answers of the participants. You will see on the screen the table that shows the demographic profile of the out-of-school youth with special needs, which contains the following. First, the type of disabilities. Second, the gender. Next, the age and the family income. Based from the answer of the respective participant coming from Barangay Usiao in Bacon, there are 4 types of disabilities identified, on which there are 3 participants who are deaf mutes representing 42.86%, 1 autism representing an average of 14.29%, 2 intellectual disabilities representing 28.58%, and 1 epilepsy representing 14.29%. When it comes to their age, 16.67% of them were under 13 to 17 years old, and 85.71% of them were 18 years old and above. While in terms of their gender, 3 out of 7 are male or 42.86%, and 4 out of 7 female or 57.14%. In addition, under the family income, 2 participants representing 28.58% of an annual income of between 3,000 to 5,000 pesos, while two participants or 28.58% have the annual income of between 6,000 to 10,000 pesos. And one participant represents the 14.29% of having an annual income of between 10,000 to 15,000. Moreover, two participants have the annual income of 20,000 and above with the percentage of 28.50. The analysis revealed that the majority of the participants are from low socioeconomic backgrounds. Going forward, I will discuss the challenges encountered by the out-of-school youth in accessing education. There were two themes identified based on the data collected, which includes bullying and special needs or disabilities. First, bullying. Majority of the challenges that the participant encountered was bullying. During the interview, they all said that this is one of the reasons why they drop out from school. This is what the out-of-school youth with special needs stated. Elsie, not her real name, with epilepsy, says that ang sakuyang rason ta nagpundo ako sa pag-eskwela ay dahil nga ni sa sakuyang kondisyon na namamatean. Tapos piga-atake ako permi. Dahil duman, pigbubuli ako kung sakuyang kaklase. It is similarly to the statement of John, not his real name, with autism. Napapagalan ako sa eskwelahan nang dahol ang nagbubuli sa kuya. The results of the study implies that bullying is still largely prevalent in school, particularly in regular schools where students face added discrimination and difficulty due to often not have resources for their needs. This indicates that children with disabilities are also at increased risk of school violence and bullying, preventing safe enjoyment of their right to education. This is according to the UNESCO School Violence and Bullying Global Status Report 2016. The second theme is special needs or disabilities. Half of the participants indicated that due to their disabilities or special needs, they can attend to the schools, so they drop out from the school. In an interview, Elsie, not her real name, with epilepsy mentioned that mapagal dahil nga ni sa kondisyon ko na ini, day ko napadagos ang sakuyang pag-eskwela, day ko man nagigibo ang sakuyang obligasyon digdi sa balay, ta minsan nga ni piga-atake ako kang epilepsy. This statement was supported by Angel, not her real name, with intellectual disability. Habo ko nata day ko man kaya. Gusto ko man magklase para makaaram ako, kaso hilinga man ako ta nakatukaw na sa nasa wheelchair. The result of the study implies that due to their disabilities or special needs, they choose to leave or not to attend school. Based on that, there is consensus in the literature that students with disabilities are at much greater risk of dropping out of education than their peers. This is according to Camp 2012. Children with disabilities have very low rates of initial enrollment, even if they do attend school. Children with disabilities are more likely to drop out and leave school early without transitioning to secondary schools and beyond. This is according to GCE Equal Rights, Equal Opportunity Report 2014. Let's now move forward to the next. The central themes were identified by the data on the challenges encountered by the parents of out-of-school youth with special needs. 4 categories were identified under the themes in accessing education, which includes: first, financial problem; second, limited knowledge on handling their child's learning and disabilities; next, unavailability of SPED schools and teacher; and lastly, the stigmatization in the community. First theme was financial problem. The interview revealed that parents of out-of-school youth with special needs complain of financial problems to support the needs of their child. Some of the parents complain that they do not have enough money to send their child from the doctor, medical expert, or a specialist to give the right medication. As a result, they can't receive proper intervention in special services. For instances, Mr. Juan, not his real name, stated that sobra talaga ang pagkahira ko dyan sa aki ko. Taday ko siya masustentuhan.
tamay hilang naman ako na tigmamati. Ako man lang ang pig-aasahan digdi sa muyat na magtrabaho ta single parent man lang ako. Day kuman mapahiling lamang siya sa sarong espesyalista o doktor para mahiling ang sa iyang kondisyon takawaraon man kami. Nanwara man talaga ako kakayahang pinansyal na paeskulahon siya sa SPED para matabangan lamang siya sa iyang kondisyon nan saro pa wara man digdis arog ka iya na eskwelahan sa barangay ta. He stated that with teared eye. Based on this statement, it can be gleaned that the majority of them indicated that financially they can support their child in accessing education, most especially in SPED school. They face hardship and difficulties on life on supporting and providing the basic needs of their children. Poverty is a significant factor which impacts on parents' ability to send their children to the school. Going forward, the next theme is limited knowledge on handling their children and disabilities. Majority of the participants claim that they are capable of supporting their child with the help of their neighbors, cousins, and friends. But the only problem is that they have only limited knowledge on how to handle and assist their child on providing the needed knowledge and skills. For instances, Mrs. Marilyn, not her real name, supported that by saying, "Ay dakol ang sakuyang pig-agihan, kapagal magkaigwa ki-aki na may kapansanan." May minsan ngani na napapaiwal naman ako dahil lang sa aki ko. Siyempre bilang sarong magurang, kaipuhan mo na ipagtanggol ang aki mo. Ay sus kung aram lang nindo kung gaano kapagal. Based on the data gathered, it can be gleaned that participants had only vague understanding of the disability of their child and how to handle it, as they did not have access to basic knowledge on handling their child. Parents may not formally educate on handling their children with special needs. Going forward, the next themes identified on the challenges encountered by the parents are unavailability of SPED school. Mr. Juan had this to say, "Daikuman siya na-enroll sa arog kaiyan na eskwelahan. Wara kami kwarta para suportahan siya sa para makaeskwela tapos wara man baga digdi ki arog ka na eskwelahan sa barangay ta. Sa bakon igwa pero kaharayo. Mapagal magbiyahe ta ang dalan delikado tapos wara kami kikwarta para lang makaeskwela siya." They stated that they can't enroll their child because they don't have a stable job. From above, it can be gleaned that the parents of participants find difficulties to have access on education due to unavailability of SPED school in their barangay since it is located in the remote areas of Bacon in Sorsogon City. Some parents remark that they are financially incapable to let their child enroll in the SPED center because they don't have a stable job. And the last theme was identified was the stigmatization from the community. Most of the parents complained saying that their children were stigmatized and discriminated by other children. Their child encounters bullying and judgment from the people in their community. Similarly, Mrs. Marites, not his real name, stated that nang bilang sarong magurang, makulog sa buot na makamati kakimay nagsusupo ng paparaistorya sa kondisyon kang aki mo. Bilang sarong ina, pagpigbubuli ng pig-iwal ang sa imong aki, kang ibang tao, mapapahibi ka na lang talaga ng makulog sa buot mo lalo na kung pigpapakulugan na sinda kang ibang aki, mapapaiwal ka talaga. Based on this statement, it implies that stigma from the community is one of the challenges of the parents or guardian that their child encountered. Most of the parents complained saying that their children were stigmatized and discriminated against by the other children. They raised a concern about the way of the other children treats their child with special needs. Other people tease them which leads to some trouble. In line with those statements, Mawagani 2014 stated that the main problems encountered by the parents in educating their child with disabilities are stigmatization, negative attitude from the member of the society, and parental ignorance. Such a child is a shame to the whole family. Hence, their rejection by the family or from the community. Children who are met by these beliefs and attitude can hardly develop to their full potential. They get less attention, less stimulation, less education, less medical care, less upbringing, and sometimes less nourishment that other children have. This is according to the Kenya Society for the Physical Handicap 2013. Going forward, you will see on the screen the action plan which made by the researcher to address the challenges encountered by the out-of-school youth with special needs in accessing education in Barangay Usiao, Bacon District, Sorsogon City. Nearing the end of presentation, now we will be moving on the conclusion and recommendations. After a sequence of analysis, the researcher have come up with the conclusion that are based on the results and findings as follows. First, based on the study, the researchers found out that the majority of participants were females, comprising 57.14% of the participants. It also indicates that about 16.67% of the participants fell in the 13 to 17 years of age category. The age range 18 and above have the highest percentage of about 85.7%. Also, 4 types of disabilities were identified, such as deaf, mute, autism, intellectual disabilities, and epilepsy. Moreover, the analysis revealed that majority of the participants are from low socioeconomic backgrounds. Secondly, the most common challenges that the out-of-school youth with special needs encountered in accessing education are bullying and special needs or disabilities, which had a great impact to them that leads to dropping out from school instead for being an out-of-school youth. On the other hand, they are hopeful to continue their study in order to achieve their goals in life and to help their parents. And lastly, based on the findings, therefore, the researcher conclude that there are numerous problems and challenges encountered by the parents of out-of-school youth with special needs in assessing education, such as poverty or lack of financial support, limited of knowledge of handling their child and their disabilities, unavailability of SPED school and teacher, and stigmatization in the community. That's why the parents need to be trained or assisted with ways in which can help them to be more able to cope up on the handling their child learning and disabilities. In light of the above mentioned results, finding, and conclusion, the researcher strongly urged all of the out-of-school youth with special needs to recognize and respect that despite the challenges they've encountered and the reason that have led to their status as an out-of-school youth, they are still hoping and longing to achieve their dreams and aspirations in life. Rather of passing judgment, it is preferable to lend a hand in whatever they are doing, to motivate them and to make them feel welcome as equal in our society. The following recommendations are made by the researchers. First, the government should establish special schools and units per district, bringing school near the communities to encourage pursuit of education, as some of the out-of-school youth with special needs give up due to the distance from home to schools. Secondly, the community has to be more open in accepting of out-of-school youth with special needs. Instead of judging them, it would be a huge benefit if they could lend a hand to out-of-school youth with special needs and be one of the motivators to be more optimistic and hard work for their goals. In addition, the government should open more programs that would help of out-of-school youth with special needs, which enable to have access in education and need of specialized education that would cater their needs in life. Moreover, the government should provide assistance and technical aids for children with special needs, such as white canes, hearing aids, writing frames with stylus, spectacles, learning materials, crutches, and wheelchairs. And lastly, the government should help of out-of-school youth parents in starting income, generating activities to support the needs of their children to a livelihood program. And that concludes our presentation for our research. Again, it is entitled The Challenges Encountered by the Out-of-School Youth with Special Needs in Accessing Education in Barangay Usiao, Bacon. But before I truly end this presentation, let me leave you this quotation. It shouldn't matter how slowly a child learns. What matters is that we encourage them to never stop trying. This according to Robert Michan. And it shows in our study that despite of the hardship and challenges encountered by the out-of-school youth with special need and their parents in accessing education, they can still move forward for their aspiration in life, and even in the slow pace, they look ahead at the horizon for a better tomorrow. That's all. Thank you and God bless.